And we are live. How's it going, everyone? We have a very special guest on today. I'm super excited because this project just put out a massive roadmap for features. Some of them are already live, but I'm particularly excited because it's bringing DeFi mechanics into the NFT space. So, without further ado, I'm of course referring to FRAKT with their latest product or suite of products coming out, FRAKT HQ. And I have Tim, founder of FRAKT, and Dylan, head of partnerships at FRAKT, joining me today. How's it going, guys?
What's up? Pretty good, pretty good.
Hey, thanks for having us. Excited.
Yes, 100%. I'm excited to just dive into what is new, what's coming out of FRAKT. As a massive NFT holder myself, it's amazing seeing things that are looking to bridge the gaps for liquidity and utility, and overall just providing more holistic tools for the NFT ecosystem. So, with that being said, we're definitely going to dive into some nitty gritty here, really get into all the products you guys offer. But I think it would be
Mm.
great to just lay some context in the beginning. What is FRAKT? How did it start? And where are you guys now? So this is a little bit of a three-part question, but really just laying
Sure.
the brickwork down for people who aren't too familiar.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, let's get to the beginning. I'm pretty sure if you're OG on Solana, if you've been here for at least like I don't know 4 months, you should at least heard of us. So basically, FRAKT is OG NFT collection on Solana, purely generative art. We were launched in June as a part of Solana Summer Season Hackathon. And basically, like back in the day, when I was like Googling what's happening in like Solana NFT space, I saw only like one or two projects. So it was like pretty fresh field. And yeah, basically, back in the day, there was no Metaplex at all. Like there was no candy machine. So we coded, I believe, for the first live minting smart contract on Solana. And we were like we had pretty seamlessly launched. We can actually use that technology later on and like helped other projects to launch with it. And yeah, since then it was hell of the ride for all of us. When we just got to the hackathon, we never like expected to become a like Web3 company. And yeah, since then we've been around. We tried to build certain things for the community and for the ecosystem in general. And like if I like get back a bit, we did gen art collection because I was doing some gen art on Tezos, so it was like the only thing that I knew how to do pretty much, basically. And we tried to do the sandbox, which is like NFT launchpad for gen art creators, kind of like we followed the art blocks and Solana path that everybody was talking about. And it was a bit of disconnect between team like hardcore capabilities, in the skill set and what we actually do. So we decided to pivot completely the whole project and focus on actual like problem solving and complex DeFi stuff instead of that, because I believe and we've proven that throughout our history by like doing that live minting smart contract, doing the first NFT staking on Solana, doing the first fractionalization. We proved that we are capable of building things. So yeah, we decided to pivot to this liquidity solution, and I'm very happy about it because that's more into us. We have a passion about it, and yeah, pretty much it. I don't know if I missed some crucial parts about our history because 6 months or 8 months, I don't know, on Solana is on NFTs is pretty like whole life. So
No,
yeah.
I think that's awesome, Tim. And just the fact that you guys came in when NFTs were super hot. You found something that was fun with the generative. The art for FRAKT was amazing. I mean, there was a ton of buzz around it early on.
Yeah.
And as you said, most people that have been in the Solana ecosystem know what FRAKT is. What I think is really unique was this turn that you mentioned where just doing generative art collections was okay, it was enjoyable, but you guys really wanted to dive in and solve problems. And it really sounded like provide
Exactly.
more infrastructure for the ecosystem in regards to you guys had your initial minting contract, but now moving forward,
Yeah.
this seems like a perfect segue into what's birthed as FRAKT HQ, which is a suite of different products that really unlocks a ton more utilities for NFTs. So I think this
Yeah.
is a good spot to dive in here. This is where we'll start to get a little bit technical, but this is really exciting
Mm,
for people into NFTs. I think a great place to start is fractionalization, given that
mm,
this is live on FRAKT currently. And we can kind of just dive into that. What is fractionalization? What are the benefits behind it?
yeah, yeah. So our path on fractionalization actually started from the joke. I saw one thread, Twitter thread within like some Solana community, and it was about like when do we have fractionalization in Solana? And I was like, fractionalization, FRAKT. It seems like a marriage made in heaven, so let's do that. Pretty much that's the whole reason behind it, behind that. And yeah, we started talking with Jordan from Metaplex because he said that he already did some stuff towards that in the very same thread. So we started collaborating with Metaplex on that, and we've built our initial fractionalization protocol on top of what was done by Metaplex team. And yeah, since then we're like, okay, there is something, right? It's a huge problem of NFT liquidity basically, and fractionalization is just like one tool to solve that. And while digging deeper, like getting like inside this whole problem, we saw so many like opportunities and so many things that can be interesting things that can be done with NFTs in that field of DeFi area. And yeah, like so that's how we decided to basically to focus on that. So in general, fractionalization is pretty straightforward thing. You lock your NFT within the protocol. In exchange, you can mint as many tokens as you want. You kind of split your NFT into fungible tokens. And in our protocol, I believe that's the only fractionalization protocol that does that on Solana. You're pretty free to do whatever you want with that. I mean, you can split in two pieces. You can split in 2 million tokens. You can do whatever you want. You can pick the any like ticker name for the token as you want, and that's permissionless, completely free, open. You can go and like fractionalize pretty much everything in Solana. And yeah, it brings a lot of use cases and brings a lot of like stuff that can be built on top. So we have also the ability to fractionalize multiple NFTs inside of the vault, and that makes sense for other collections to have like almost every collection nowadays launch their own token. They do staking, they do breeding, all of that. And for the most part, these tokens are not backed actually by something, right? So what other projects did that came to us is that they issued the token, but actually these tokens were fractions of real NFTs and blue chip NFTs in Solana. So that actually means that it's not just like pure Ponzinomics. Actual tokens are backed by NFTs that locked in the fractionalization protocol, right? And we have other use cases when people want to sell NFT but want to sell it like partially, or want to have like treasury of NFTs that distributed to multiple people via that token. So yeah, a ton of use cases, and like some people decide not to sell even like these fungible tokens. Others just focused on selling. So it's like different different paths to work on it. Basically, what we provide is an infrastructure, right, and basically a tool. And once you have that tool, you can do like whatever you want with it.
Definitely. And I think this starts to open up a lot of different routes for someone like myself who is an NFT holder. You can start thinking about things of being able to get liquidity more readily. Obviously, this is great because some of these fractionalization pieces are a better indicator of what the actual value of the NFT is as compared to
Yeah,
the floor price. And this means that users can get liquidity much more readily. I think
yeah,
another thing here is, if I'm understanding correctly, people can still own the majority of their NFT, but then
sure,
fractionalize a portion of it to maybe reduce some risk, but still have the majority of their
sure.
NFT. And then I think even moving forward, or not even that, I think a really big thing to address at this point in time is sort of this massive problem, not only in DeFi, but in all markets of liquidity. So just curious here, fractionalization does allow for ready liquidity. People can go and easily sell. But how at FRAKT are you guys looking to incentivize some of this liquidity for bigger pools? Obviously, the protocol is permissionless, so you guys don't look to bring liquidity to every collection, every asset, but I imagine there will be some in the future that you guys look to bring liquidity for, whether it's through a partnership or the protocol itself doing that.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that we've been quite innovative in is that our farms for liquidity providing, they are fully custom. And the reason behind that is that we wanted to allow you to farm many tokens, not just one. And not quite a lot of farms provide you that right now. Basically, yeah, we're looking forward to partner up with the collections if they want to fill their liquidity pool with liquidity. And for sure, like we're also like interested in filling the liquidity. But actually, what differentiates us with from other projects is that we are not huge fans of liquidity mining programs, especially with your own native token, because like farmers, 99% of the farmers look at your token as passive income reward, basically, right? And like for the most part, they will dump it, and that brings you really like unhealthy tokenomics with like huge selling pressure. And we go like
Definitely.
again, yeah, we go against that, and our approach is different. I can share much more on that, I think, in the angle of pools. So, so yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, pretty much it.
Definitely. Yeah. And in regards to pools, I guess I'm just curious,
Hmm.
you guys obviously need liquidity in that regard. So
For
there
sure.
is an extent. How do you guys aim to get that liquidity, especially for something like an NFT? Why would I want to provide liquidity as holding an NFT? Just
Yeah.
curious on that.
Yeah. So if you fractionalize the NFT or if you're participating within the pool, that's by the pool I mean NFT pools.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. And really just curious moving forward. So we touched on a big part, fractionalization. You touched a little bit on the idea of having baskets, which are almost like an NFT ETF where you can pair collections together and do that by trait, by collection, by different NFTs. So that opens up the door. Currently, if I'm understanding correctly, users can only fractionalize. What can we expect to see coming in the near future from FRAKT
Yeah.
HQ?
Yeah, so the next tool that we are rolling out in a week or two, basically it's being tested right now, called Pools. It works kind of the same way as staking pools in Solana. I don't know if you're familiar with something like Marinate, for example.
Yep.
Yeah, so technology is pretty simple. You stake your NFT within the pool. For example, you have Tagbird, right? You have a pool with the Tagbirds. You stake your bird inside this pool. In return, you get one fungible token that represents your ownership of NFT from that pool. And that fungible token can be exchanged for Solana instantly. So basically, you're selling your dog instantly. That token can be used as DeFi primitive, and you can stake it with some liquidity to earn rewards. Basically, to do like usual DeFi farming with your NFT. Or you can go back to the pool and exchange that fungible token to random NFT from the pool, which brings kind of trading aspect to it and allows people to do like swaps, like kind of rerolls within the pool and try to hunt, better NFT than they have, or like more rare one, or just NFT with the trades that they like better. So
Yeah.
that's the
That
idea in
makes
general.
yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And it provides liquidity for users and
Mm-hmm.
also pretty much incentivizes for more people to fractionalize and use these markets. So that makes a ton of sense there. And it'll be exciting to see that roll out and really give an added reason for users to go in and fractionalize NFTs. I think another thing that I'm pretty excited about that sounds slightly further out is NFT loans. So it'd be great to get recap on this and then dive into it and really start to hear about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so NFT loans, we partner up with bunch of economists on that, and like we became one huge protocol in that sense. So NFT loans pretty straightforward, right? When you provide NFT to the pool to get liquidity out, you should be aware of that somebody can buy your NFT from the pool, right? So you should be okay about like losing specific NFT. And in NFT space, people they feel attached to certain to their own like NFTs, and but they still want to get liquidity out, right? So instead of like pulling that, they can take a loan against their NFT. Right now, as we speak, they can go for 30% of the floor price, and basically for the week they have the liquidity instantly out of their NFTs, and they have a week to repay it if they don't want to get liquidated. And yeah, pretty much it. And for the most part, this technology was used by our community to, for example, mint something like some upcoming like huge launch, NFT launch, and flip it and earn, right? And but basically the use cases are endless. Um, yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, and I'm curious, is this something that is already available for users to
Mhm.
utilize? What was that?
Yeah, that's already live as a pawn shop nomis protocol. We are merging that inside the FRAKT, so it will be hosted on our own like website, and we will be adding more. We'll be getting that technology more advanced, but that's already live. Actually, you can go to the pawn shop nomis website and take a loan against I would say most of the blue chips, and we are listing constantly new and new collections. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome there. And just to have some more clarity on the process of pricing these NFTs and the liquidation. So you mentioned there that you have to pay 10% in the week. If you don't pay it, then you get liquidated. I think that's pretty straightforward. On regards to how much users can take out, it sounds like 30%. Where is this floor price being grabbed from? Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So right now, as at the moment, we use our own price oracle that kind of evaluates. I would say not just floor price, but mostly focuses on volume actually to evaluate. So listings don't affect the floor like the price for us. only sales affect that. So we basically take the lowest sales that happen throughout like 2 or 3 weeks and decide on price from that. So it is in on chain, and yeah, pretty much it. Actually, we also partnering up with other guys who provide much advanced NFT oracles. So later on, you will be able to loan against even rare NFTs from your wallet, and they will be evaluated differently. So you'll be able to get more liquidity out.
Yeah, that's super interesting, especially in regards to really looking to beef up the oracles, because I think that is a big thing, right? If I have top 500, top 1000 NFT, it's currently going to be valued at the same price as a floor one. But trying to innovate on oracles is definitely important, which was one of the reasons why I was curious about that. So, really moving forward here, I think we outlined a handful of big things. You obviously have the fractionalization, and what ties in with that are the pools, and that is a mechanism that really creates liquidity and provides a very easy way for users to fractionalize and get the fractionalized token there. We also touched on loans a little bit. So I think this covers a lot of the main updates of Fract HQ. I have a couple other smaller questions. I'm curious, in general, Tim, what is sort of the biggest thing that has got you excited about all of these developments coming up? It seems like you guys have been building a lot. I don't expect you guys to stop here, though.
Yeah, actually, all of that we mentioned is going to go live within the weeks. So we're already like looking further and thinking on like what's next. So definitely there will be like some huge enhancements on the stuff that we already built. But pretty crazy ideas that I have in my mind is like they are yet to be explored. And yeah, basically our vision, like since the day one when we ended up in this position as founders of NFT project that blew up, we decided that our vision is going to be to provide value to the whole ecosystem and to our community and build something really like huge, not just NFT collection. So that's what drives us. We are builders who want to build some exciting and maybe sometimes failing stuff, right? Because not everything will work. But the idea is that we want to constantly try, constantly pivot, and basically build new weird stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a big thing here is the idea of experimenting and trying to build new ideas, new products. I'm curious, what have been some of the biggest difficulties so far in really taking this step of combining DeFi and NFTs? What have been some of the hiccups so far? Because it's definitely not easy, right? These are pretty novel ideas, and you guys are developing them on Solana.
I would say liquidity, especially on Sol, we are like 10 times smaller than ETH, right? So not much, even though like it seems like to be huge and there's constantly something happening, we're still pretty small in comparison to ETH. So I would say the liquidity and I would say also like the fungibility aspect because NFTs they're kind of unique in its own way, So you're always like thinking on the ways to tackle that and to bring it to the just like usual DeFi primitive. So I would say these two things, what we are like the most challenging, and especially with the upcoming launch of the pools, it's really like going to show out that NFT space on Solana is relatively small, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree, which was why I was just asking about the liquidity pools. That's something I
Yeah.
actually look at a lot. Like the volumes on Solana are 5 to 20 times, depending on the given day, smaller than that of Ethereum. So I
Yeah,
think that's a double-edged sword, right? It shows that there's a lot
sure.
of room to grow as these primitives are building, but it also does make spooling up that flywheel, getting those initial users and liquidity a bit more difficult. In regards
Yeah,
to the pools, how will those be incentivized? I know you guys have two tokens. You also
yeah,
mentioned that you aren't really looking to have a inflationary
yeah.
liquidity program because of that whole idea of mercenary liquidity. I guess I have two questions here, poking a little bit more on if those would be incentivized, how so? And then I'd also just be curious to hear about your guys' tokens. So, little two-part
Sure.
question there.
Sure. So that's actually another angle why we are so different from other projects is that um, so basically when you interact with an NFT pool, there is always a commission, a small one, but there is um, that is taken from you, right? You cannot do like all the time swaps within the same pool because it will be exhausted pretty soon. So that's why there is a fee, and all of that fees go to the liquidity providers. So when you provide liquidity, you are not earning some, third token that you will be dumping. You're earning actually NFT in a sense. So you're earning the same NFT that you provide to the pool, to the liquidity mining. So you kind of like if you're farming in the tag pool, you're earning on top of that another tag tokens that if you accumulate enough, you'll be able to redeem a whole NFT from the pool. So that's the idea, and we don't affect our tokenomics in the liquidity mining. However, we use our token as volume insensitive, to be honest, and we reward you for every interaction within the pool or for every loan you take. We reward you with our token because we believe that we should be generating volume instead of incentivizing liquidity mining. So when you get rewarded in the token, and it's like you actually already proven that you use the platform, right? In that sense, in that case, we believe that you are more interested in actually keeping that token, staking it for more liquidity utilities instead of just dumping it. So our token, if you stake it, it gives you less fees on the trading in pools. It gives you much better loans, so you can get higher LTV or more time to return. And also brings you some exciting stuff like referral program that works like basically on every centralized exchange. If you have people who signed up with your referral link, you will be earning more rewards just like by from them doing the swaps within the pool, for example. So all of that should incentivize volume, which is actual usage of the platform, instead of just like liquidity mining. And when you use the platform and you get rewarded in the token, that gives you more features within the same platform. It much more sense for you not to sell it, but to use that token because you're already using the platform. So yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, I think that's really unique. And the biggest thing here is the fact of the matter that Web3 allows users to be incentivized a lot more to use platforms, and the idea that
Yeah,
platforms can reward early adopters. The
yeah,
biggest thing here, obviously, is just figuring out how to align these incentives so you don't run into things like mercenary liquidity providers, but also still are able to provide enough incentives to the users that they want to use the platform. So, hearing that you guys are really thinking about this with how you are allocating the tokens and really making sure that people who are using the platform are getting rewarded, I think is incredibly important and just super awesome to hear. In general, I'm starting to wrap up my questions here. I think the biggest thing is obviously this massive suite of products that you guys are really looking to put out. And I think maybe a lot of people haven't realized this big shift yet of FRAKT going from generative art to really looking and building DeFi infrastructure for NFTs, which is a massive shift and has gotten a ton of people super excited. So, with that being said, I just want to open it up to you, Tim, also Dylan. If you have anything else to add on here, I think we laid it out very well. There's a thread that I can drop in the chat that actually goes over what FRAKT HQ is, as well as the documentation that goes in depth on each and every one of these products. But want to thank you guys for coming on and open it up if there's anything we may have missed or something you want to wrap up with.
Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything. So I would say just like keep an eye on the announcements and what's coming next, because especially like FRAKT and Nomi's holders won't get disappointed. And yeah, pretty much very exciting path like open up for us, and we are very excited to finally step in and make it official that we are pivoting into liquidity platform. So yeah,
100%.
thank you for having us as well.
Of course, Tim. Amazing to have you guys on. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And in general, just really excited to see the innovation that comes out of FRAKT. This is definitely something where a ton of people are looking for innovation, and FRAKT is here pioneering, trying to build the infrastructure for NFTs, really bring liquidity, whether it's through fractionalization, through lending, and bridge a bunch of gaps. So with that being said, we'll wrap it up there. I will go ahead and drop both of those links I mentioned here in the YouTube comments, also underneath the post on Twitter. So be sure to go check those out and read up some more. And again, thanks, Tim and Dylan. Until next time, peace out, everyone.
For sure. Thank you.